hates me, and I'm back again with another video. This time I'm gonna give you some updates on the possible resumption of the 2019-2020 NBA season. Reports indicate that they are entering into exploratory conversations with Walt Disney about restarting the season at the ESPN's Wide World of Sports complex in Orlando, Florida. Of course, Florida is one of the states that relaxed their lockdown and allowed sports to continue. That's why we have AEW still holding their tapings in Jacksonville, and WWE who also are continuing their tapings in their performance center and at Full Sail for their NXT shows. Also, UFC held an event there a few weeks back, so it seems Florida is the place to be for sports to actually continue in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic. So this has been kind of a rumor for a while. It was it was between Las Vegas and Florida, and it seemed like recently the NBA geared towards more towards Florida rather than Las Vegas. So now they're in talks, officially in talks, and I know a lot of Facebook posts says that the season would indeed continue, but that's false. Nothing has been declared yet. The official word from the NBA, official word from Twitter is that they are still in talks. They are in negotiations. Nothing is set in stone, but this is a big possibility to happen. Reports has been indicating that this would indeed happen, and they're targeting mid to late July to actually continue the season. Question if it would be the regular season. Would they bring all 30 teams in Florida, or it will only be the 16 playoff teams, or even a mix of both, and maybe a 20 teams could be sent to Florida. But I'm gonna talk about that later. But that's where it stands right now. The NBA is in talks with Walt Disney in using their wide world of sports complex as a facility to where they would continue play in a single site with no fans. So it would be like kind of like an AAU tournament. It would be just basketball. There would be no spectators, no fans around, and probably the safest way you can play sports still with this pandemic. So another thing, they've been talking about what is the format, or how are they going to do this. Because obviously you can't play 82 full games anymore, because it would be too late and it would take a lot of time. I think the NBA is trying to finish this as much as possible. They're trying to have a champion, but at the same time they are trying to finish this as soon as they can. So they don't want to prolong this any longer. So discussions, the Twitter has been talking about different playoff formats that the NBA can use when the season does come back, and one of them is the 1-16 playoff format, which is interesting to say the least, because I think if you're gonna test that 1-16 playoff format, because that has been talked about for years now. That has been the talk of the town for years, because we all know the Eastern teams are inferior to the West, and there are years in which the two best teams did not meet in the finals. The two best teams met in the conference finals or in the second round. So the 1-16 playoff format has been talked about a lot in the last decade or so. But the the contrary to that argument is it would make the travel harder because let's say if the Nets and the Lakers played in the first round, the travel between those two cities from New York to LA and LA to New York, that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard on the players. That's gonna be hard on the broadcast crew who's gonna cover the games because it's literally coast to coast travel, and that's the reason why we have Eastern Conference and Western Conference in the playoffs because it will be much easier for teams to travel back and forth because in a 7 game series, the first 2 games is played on this city and the next two is played on this city. Game 5 back to the one city, then game 6 if necessary goes back to the other city, and if game 7 goes back again. But my theory is if you're gonna test this format, might as just well test it now because you're pretty much in a single site, so home court advantage doesn't even matter. So why the heck not? If people are saying there's gonna be massive asterisk to who wins this year, then might as just well go out and test this different this crazy formats that people has been talking about for years. Might as just well. And aside from the 1 to 16 seeding system that has been talked about for a while, this I just heard this like the other day, and they're trying to do like a FIFA World Cup kind of style. So this idea is to bring 20 teams, so the 16 teams plus some of the teams that are still in playoff contention, and basically they're gonna do like a FIFA World Cup kind of thing. They're gonna group the teams into 4 groups, and each group will play each other like once, and whoever comes out on maybe like the top 2 seeds of each group, they advance to like a tournament, like during the best of 7, and maybe the first seed of this group goes to the second, goes up against the second seed of this group, and so kind of like a FIFA World Cup kind of style. And again, that's another thing that I'm just gonna let that truck pass by. Like again, people are gonna say that the champion would have an asterisk. So might as well go ahead with these crazy ideas. There's none. There's nothing. There's not a better time to do that than now. And the group stages is kind of actually like beneficial to all of the teams. And everybody has a chance. It's resets back to 0 every the seeding will only matter for group purposes. So let's say first seed goes to this group, second seed goes to this group, but after that it's 0-0. Records are irrelevant. It's literally back to 0. And it's gonna make for great competition. But I could see why the top seeded teams wouldn't agree to that, because we work for this. We work for, like, if let's say if you're the Bucks and you work for this 1 seed, and we're literally like do not have any advantages to being the number 1 seed. And like for me, the group stages looks good on theory, but some GMs wouldn't agree to that, in my opinion. They would rather go for like the old school, like 1 to 16 or 1 to 8 format, because that can get kind of tricky. But at the same time, as a fan, I would love the NBA to do that. I would love the NBA to experiment with this crazy idea of grouping 20 teams, dividing them into 4 groups, and having this FIFA World Cup kind of style of postseason. Maybe that could actually work and we could use that in the future. Who knows, you know? But as of right now, everything is still up in the air. There's nothing official, nothing set on stone. The NBA is still in talks with Disney, so there still isn't any confirmation that the season will indeed resume on July. But indications are optimistic. People are optimistic about the season returning in July, and let's just hope for the best because I miss basketball. And not that I'm bored yet, but I miss the NBA. I miss watching the games. Um, I miss everything. I miss everything about the league. I miss everything about the sports. And although I'm still glad that AEW and WWE are still doing shows, which keeps me entertained, but I would really, really love the NBA to come back. And we just hope for the best. And I'm gonna, watch out for any updates. And if you have any comments, if you have any suggestions to the playoff format that you want, comment down below. And stay safe. And again, I'm gonna see you on the next video.